Welcome to Standard Voice News Channel. I am Samira Ibrahim. Here are your top stories for today. ZAMFARA State Government asks Federal Government to release the 10 billion Naira Special Intervention Fund for victims of armed banditry in the state. AMINU KANO Teaching Hospital initiates study on liver transplant. Nigeria Security and Civil Defense School dismisses officer for looting in Abuja. On business, Federal government begins payment of 30,000 grants to artisans in the country. And on the international scene, Nigeria will continue to expand on its successes. President Buhari assures outgoing Bangladesh High Commissioner. Now the news in details. Governor Bello Muhammad Matawallan Maradon has appealed to the federal government to release the 10 billion Naira Special Intervention Fund it promised earlier as support for victims of armed banditry and flood disasters in the state. Governor Matawalle made the appeal on Monday during a special town hall meeting on the state of the nation organized by the federal government in Gusau, the state capital. The governor, who was represented by the secretary to the state government, Alhaji Balabel Lumaru, said Zamfara is one of the frontline states in the northern part of the country with cases of armed banditry, kidnappings, cattle rustling, and flood disasters, where many people were rendered homeless. Hence, the need for the federal government to release the 10 billion Naira Special Intervention Funds for immediate resettlement and assistance to the victims in order to cushion their hardships. For more details on the story, over to our correspondent Rahama Ibrahim.
The governor also called on the federal government to construct the Dansada Birnungwari Mina Federal Road cutting through Zamfara, Kaduna and Niger State as part of measures to obstruct the advantage used by armed bandits. The Matawallan Maradon reiterated his administration's resolve in using the stick and carrot approach to ensure the sustenance of peace and tranquility in all parts of the state. He also called for the establishment of synergy between the state government and the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development for the formation of a joint committee that will be sharing support and assistance to the masses so that everyone will be covered.
The Honorable Minister can quite remember that there is a 10 billion Naira intervention fund which the federal government has promised to give to the Zamfara state. And we have submitted a proposal long ago before the COVID unfortunate pandemic, and up to now we have not received any response from the federal government. So since this issue is on the table of the Honorable Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, I would like her to please assist to see that this 10 billion Naira intervention fund is received by the Zamfara state government.
The governor also informed the gathering that Zamfara state has not experienced any such protests and any other violence in all parts of the state, pointing out that the palliatives given to the state by the federal government had been distributed to the deserving beneficiaries in the state. In her address, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Hajia Sadia Umar Farooq, said a total of 282,529 pupils are currently being fed under the National Homegrown School Feeding Program in Zamfara State by her ministry. The minister said the scheme was being carried out in 1,759 schools, cutting across all the 14 local government areas of the state and giving employment to 2,000 cooks.
Under the National Homegrown School Feeding Program, which is also a program under my ministry, this program is being run in 35 states of the Federation and the FCT, with over 9 million children, primary 1 to 3 primary school pupils, being fed by the federal government 1 meal per day as part of wider efforts by the President Muhammad Buhari's administration to address hunger and malnutrition amongst these children. approximately 282,529 primary school pupils in public schools in Zamfara State are being fed in 1,759 schools across the 14 local government areas of the state. It is a program that supports the women that cook the food for these children.
Hajiya Sadiya Farooq noted that the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown, ongoing activities of armed bandits, and the flooding experience in northwest region of the country led to the displacement of over 247,000 persons in Zamfara, Katsina, Sokoto, Kebbi, Kaduna, and Niger State. That has been the report. I am Rahma Ibrahim Dusra.
The federal government has declared Thursday, October 29, 2020 as public holiday to mark this year's Eid al-Mawlid celebration in commemoration of the birth of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Minister of Interior Rauf Arabisola, who made the declaration on behalf of the federal government, congratulated the Muslim faithful both at home and abroad for witnessing this year's occasion. He enjoined them to imbibe the spirit of love, patience, and perseverance, which are the virtues of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, adding that doing so will guarantee peace and security in the country. The minister admonished Muslims to follow the teaching of the Holy Quran in chapter 4, verse 59, which says, "O you who believe, obey God and obey the messenger, and those from among you who are vested with authority." Mr. Arabisola enjoined Nigerians, particularly Muslims, at this moment to abhor violence, lawlessness, wantonness, and daylight robbery as witnessed across the country most recently, stressing that Nigeria is the pride of the black race and should provide responsible leadership for the greatness and development of the African continent and all black people. The chairman of the Zamfara State House Committee on Information, Honorable Shamsuddin Hassan, has expressed dissatisfaction on the current condition of the state-owned newspaper company, publishers of the legacy newspaper. Honorable Shamsuddin Hassan, a member representing Talatan Mafara West at the 6th Assembly of Zamfara State House of Assembly, stated this in an interview with journalists shortly during an oversight function by the House Committee at the company premises in Gusau. Honorable Shamsu said the visit was part of the constitutional mandate of the honorable members to ensure monitoring of various government organs and ensure judicial spending of government funds. He said the committee was worried with what they saw on ground, especially with regards to how government money was spent in purchasing hundreds of millions of naira printing machines and left abandoned. He promised that the 6th Assembly of Zamfara State, under the leadership of Right Honorable Nasiru Maaz Magaria, will not leave stone unturned in ensuring total revival of all government agencies and parastatals. Our correspondent Tahir Ismail Mafara was at the inspection tour at the company, and he filed in this report.
Honorable Shamsu Hassan said the visit was part of the constitutional mandate of the honorable members to ensure monitoring of various government organs and ensure judicial spending of government funds. He said the committee was worried with what they saw on ground, especially with regards to how government money was spent in purchasing hundreds of millions naira printing machines and left abandoned. He promised that the 6th Assembly of Zamfara State, under the leadership of Honorable Nasiru Muazu Magaria, will not leave stone unturned in ensuring total revival of all government agencies and parastatals. Speaking further, Honorable Shamsuddin Hassan stressed that the current administration of Governor Bello Matawalle Maradun is committed to total overhauling of the information sector, as already started with Zamfara Radio, where modern equipment worth hundreds of millions of naira were procured and installed. Earlier, the managing director of the legacy newspaper, Alhaji Ilyasu Idris Gusau, welcomed the members and assured his total readiness to the mission of the present administration of Governor Bello Matawalle in reviving the information sector. He commended the committee for finding time to see for themselves the condition of the company, stressing that the visit was first of its kind during the last 10 years of the previous administrations. That has been the report. Dahiru Samaila Mafara reporting for SVTV.
The Nigerian Islamic Human Rights Organization has berated the killing of 11 Muslims of Igbo extraction in the southeast and south-south during the NSAS protest. The group also condemned the burning of Olu Central Mosque as well as attacks on other mosques in the two sub-regions. The condemnation was contained in a press statement circulated to pressmen on Monday, 26 October 2020, by the director and founder of the organization, Professor Isaac Akintola. Murik has described as shocking the news of mob attacks on Muslims of Igbo origin in the southeast and south-south during the NSAS demonstrations. At least 11 Muslims were killed, 1 in the southeast and 10 in the south-south. They were killed for no other reason than for being Muslims. Members of IPOB killed 10 Muslims in Port Harcourt. The Arewa community in Abia State has demanded compensation for its members killed and properties destroyed by suspected members of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, in Aba, Abia State. The group claims that 5 of its members were killed and many injured by suspected IPOB separatist agitators in Aba, the commercial center of Abia State. It said during the attack, properties worth millions of naira were burnt or destroyed by suspected members of the group following the NSAS protests in the town. Over to Beauty Abdul Malik for more details.
Sabiu Ibrahim, an Arewa community member, said that the suspected IPOB members carrying guns stormed their area, burnt over 30 lorries, killed 5 people and injured many others. An unverified video shows the gunmen heading to the area some moments before the attack. Other videos and photographs circulating online show properties being burnt down and people hiding in nearby bushes. Malam Ibrahim said a delegation from the Abia State government visited the area after the attack and urged the affected community for calm, but no further action had been taken so far. He called on the state governments in northern Nigeria to intervene and pressure the Abia State government to ensure justice is served. Beauty Abdul Malik reporting for SVTV.
The Kebbi State Governor, Senator Atiku Abubakar Bagudu, has commended the security agencies in the state for their relentless effort in the provision of security to the state. The governor has also sympathized with the police on the unfortunate incidences of the death of their colleagues in the line of duty in other parts of Nigeria. Governor Bagudu made the commendation during a visit to the police command in the state, where he was received by the DC Operations Mr. Godwin Eze. For more details on the story, Fauzia Ibrahim reports.
He urged the security agencies to continue discharging their duties diligently, while at the same time being mindful of the message from across sections of innocent and patriotic Nigerians who support them and also sought for improved security of their lives as well as properties. Governor Bagudo also vehemently condemned the hijack of an otherwise peaceful demonstration by youths, by some divisive elements, hoodlums, and those who do not wish Nigeria well. The Kebbi State Governor reiterated that the unity, peace, and socio-economic prosperity of the nation cannot in any way be compromised. Governor Bagudu was accompanied on the visit by Chief of Staff, Government House Alhaji Suleiman Muhammad Argungu, German Kabi, the Secretary to the State Government, Babali Umar Yauri, and other government functionaries. Fauzia Ibrahim, SVTV report.
The controversy surrounding COVID-19 palliatives, which had resulted in looting of the items nationwide, continued on Tuesday as Governor AMINU of Sokoto State said the distribution of materials in his state was delayed on the request of the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Sadiya Umar Farouk. He claimed the minister has since debunked, saying it's untrue. The Nigerian Governors Forum also reacted on Monday, saying it was not true that governors delayed distribution of the items donated by both the federal government and the Coalition Against COVID-19, KAKOVT. The governors said KAKOVT operations are mainly domiciled in Lagos, being the headquarters of most of the public-spirited organizations, corporate bodies, and individuals that came together to form the Coalition Against COVID-19. According to them, until mid-October, when the Nigerian Governors Forum had its last meeting. Up to 10 states had not participated in the flag-off ceremonies for the distribution of the palliatives in their states. In a statement by the Nigerian Governors Forum, the items for the distribution had not been completely received from KORP, resulting to the delay. But the ministry, in a swift reaction on Monday, said though it would not like to join issues with the governors, the delay in the distribution was not caused by the minister. This came as KORP also explained on Monday that most of the states did not distribute the palliatives because they were yet to get their full allocation. At least 48 out of the 110 tractors looted in Adamawa State have been recovered, just as Governor Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri threatened that houses where looted items are found risk demolition. Hoodlums were reported to have stolen at least 110 tractors and other farm implements from the Northeast Community Association warehouse, Yola. NAIRA is involved in agriculture-related services and human capacity development across the Northeast region of Adamawa, Bauchi, Borno, Gombe, Taraba and Yobe. Confirming this development, the chairman of NAIRA, Alhaji Sadiq Umar Dawari, said that 48 tractors were recovered.
See palliative, so see palliative. People they pack food. See this guy, see this guy.
The hoodlums also broke into the warehouses of the Rice Farmers Association and the Maize Farmers Association, cutting away valuables, which include farm inputs and fertilizers. The AMINU KANO Teaching Hospital says it has initiated studies to facilitate liver transplant to enhance treatment of liver cancer and other related diseases in the hospital. Professor Abdulrahman Sheshi, the chief medical director of the hospital, made the disclosure at the maiden liver surgery symposium organized by the hospital on Tuesday in Kano. The symposium, with the theme Advancing Liver Surgeries in Nigeria, was organized by the Department of Surgery of the hospital. For more details on the story, Sumaya Dusara reports.
Prof. Sheshe said the hospital has been conducting successful kidney transplant in the past 20 years and has initiated studies to improve case management and treatment of kidney diseases. The CMD said they are doing a kidney transplant for over 20 years and more than 60 kidney transplant patients. The medical director said AMINU KANO Teaching Hospital has the highest number of kidney patients in the country, pointing out that it is time to move a step further to develop and start liver transplant. Prof. Sheshe noted that the highest manifestation of liver diseases in the country was a source of concern, which needed a comprehensive approach to stem the disease. Proactive action should be applied to reduce mortality, which is 100%. According to him, the symposium will ensure surgeons and other specialists to deliberate and fashion out preventive and curative methods to curb the disease. Also speaking, Dr. Ibrahim Suleiman of the Department of Surgery said the symposium was also designed to build the capacity of medical personnel to meet the healthcare needs of the society. Sumaya Dosa reporting for SVTV News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has signed into law a bill that limits a vice president or deputy governor who completes the terms of their principals to seeking re-election only once more. This was one of the 3 bills the president signed on Friday that make key changes to pre- and post-election laws in Nigeria. The senior special assistant to President Buhari on National Assembly matters, Ita Enak, announced this on Friday. Over now to our correspondent Hawa Muhammad for more details.
The first change deals with pre-election matters. Mr. Enang said the new act has reduced the date and time of determining pre-election matters. He did not state the number of days in the new act. There is another act which has come into force in the Constitution Amendment number 21, which relates to the determination of pre-election matters. It has reduced the date and time of determining pre-election matters to ensure that pre-election matters in courts do not get into the time of the elections and do not pend thereafter. The relevant sections of the Constitution had also been amended by the Act. Mr. Enang also announced that an amendment to Bill number 16, already assented to by the President, will now ensure that a Vice President
or a deputy governor who succeeds and completes the tenure of a president or governor can only run for office one more time. The other one is Act or Bill number 16, which is now an act, and the intent of that act is to ensure that where a vice president succeeds that president and where a deputy governor succeeds a governor, he can no more contest for that office more than one time. Hawa Muhammad, reporting for SVTV News.
The Katsina State Police Command, in collaboration with the military, succeeded in repelling coordinated attack by bandits on revenge mission on Saskia community of Savannah local government area of Katsina State. The bandits, numbering over 200, armed with sophisticated weapons such as general-purpose machine guns and AK-47 rifles, were shooting sporadically while attacking the village through 3-entry security barricades. The team security personnel engaged the hoodlums into a gun duel, and as a result, 5 suspected bandits were killed and many escaped with gunshot wounds. On the other hand, the hoodlums shot and killed one Rabe Bala, a lunatic from the village. The hoodlums, while on their way out, kidnapped 3 women who ran into a nearby bush path for safety. The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps has punished a co-assistant, Ilya Ibrahim, of the Gwagwalada Division Abuja by dismissing him from the service in relation to the looting of COVID-19 palliatives discovered in a warehouse in Gwagwalada, Abuja. The media assistant to the Commandant General, NSCDC, Ekunola Benga, disclosed this in a statement made available to journalists in Abuja on Tuesday evening. The Commandant General, Abdullah Hegana Muhammadu, has approved the recommendation of the Junior Staff Disciplinary Committee for the dismissal of Ilya Ibrahim of the Gwagwalada Division for joining hoodlums in looting COVID-19 palliatives discovered in a warehouse in Gwagwalada, Abuja. Over now to our correspondent Shehu Magaji for more details.
The recommendation was given after the officers was charged under the Public Service Rule, which is related to unbecoming conduct of officers. This disciplinary measure was taken after a series of investigation and deliberation by the Junior Disciplinary Committee, and the recommendations were made to the management.
Another palliative store, Gwagwalada Area Council. As you can see, this is another palliative store that has just been broken into by the youth in Gwagwalada Area Council. This morning, the 26th of October, this is another palliative store. This is another palliative store. Wicked government. This is another palliative store. Gwagwalada Area Council.
The CG appreciates officers and the men of the Corps, including members of the public, for providing useful information that has continued to assist the Corps in identifying unfit individuals within the ranks for appropriate action. He tasked the personnel to remain committed, resolute, and firm in discharge of their duties. That has been the report. I am Shehu Magaji reporting for SBTV.
Governor Babagana Umar Zulum of Borno State says the greatest miracle that has emanated from Borno State within the last 10 years is the emergence of the civilian JTF back in 2013 and the coming of more volunteers from hunters and vigilantes, all of whom have devoted their lives to fearlessly and patriotically fight side by side with soldiers and other armed forces in the battle for Borno's liberation from Boko Haram. Of all the components of persons who make up the Borno society today, the governor said there is no group that is as important and as critical to Borno State as the brave men and women who have given up their basic and entitled needs for safety and comfort so that millions of fellow citizens can be safe and comfortable. Our indomitable men and women of the Civilian Joint Task Force of Hunters and Vigilantes, the people of Borno State, are mightily and gratefully proud of. Nothing can compensate for the sacrifices you are making. Only Allah can adequately compensate each of you. The governor said this is particularly so for many of the fellow compatriots who died in the battlefields. On business, over to Musa Joy.
Welcome to Business Desk. I am Musajoy Unyoza. The presidency on Tuesday saw a payment of 30,000 naira one-time grant to 330,000 artisans across the country under the Economic Sustainability Plan has begun. The Senior Special Assistant to the Vice President on Media and Publicity, Laulu Akande, announced this in a statement titled Payment of 30,000 grant to 330,000 artisans under ESP has begun. The statement saw the payment were made to the set of verified beneficiaries of the Artisan Support Scheme, a track under the Medium Small Micro Enterprises Survivor Fund. It said on the first stream of payment beneficiaries are being drawn from the FCT, Lagos, Ondo, Kaduna, Borno, KANO, Bauchi, Anambra, Abia, Rivers, Plateau, and Delta State. They formed the first batch of applications for the scheme submitted between October 1st and October 10th. The MSME Survivor Fund scheme is a component of the Nigerian Economic Sustainability Plan, which was deployed by an Economic Sustainability Committee established by President Muhammadu Buhari in March 2020. The President asked Vice President Yemi Osibanjo-San to head the committee which produced and is overseeing the implementation of the plan. Under the ESP, the Survivor Fund is generally designed to, among other things, support vulnerable MSMEs in meeting their different obligations and safeguard jobs in the sector. Still on business news, the 11 power distribution companies operating in Nigeria failed to remit 119.88 billion naira in the first quarter of the year, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has said. In its quarterly report for the first quarter released on Monday, the power sector regulator said the DISCOs did not make the required remittance to stipulated agencies in the industry. The report said during the first quarter of 2020, a total invoice of 185.08 billion naira was issued to the 11 DISCOs for energy received from the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading PLC and for service charged by MO market operators. But only a sum of 60.20 billion naira of the total invoice was settled, representing 32.53% remittance performance. These represent a 5.79% point decline from the final settlement rate recorded in the first quarter. In the fourth quarter of 2019, it stated that whereas 3 DISCOs fully met the expected maximum remittance threshold in the MO, none of the 11 DISCOs fully met the MRTs to NBET. The NAIRA stated that the average aggregate remittance performances to MO and NBET were 93.09% and 27.96% respectively. The Commission further observed that the financial viability and commercial performance of the industry continued to be a major challenge, with a decline in the first quarter of 2020. During the quarter under review, the total billing to and collection from electricity consumers by all the 11 DISCOs stood at 186.82 billion naira and 114.29 billion naira respectively, the NAC said. And that's all on Standard Voice Business Update. I am Musajoy Unyoza.
And on the international scene, President Muhammadu Buhari has assured that Nigeria and Bangladesh will consolidate the mutually rewarding relationship between the two countries. Receiving the outgoing High Commissioner of Bangladesh, MD Shamit Ashan, in a virtual farewell audience Tuesday, the President congratulated the envoy on the stride he had attained on the relationship between the two friendly countries. President Buhari added that Nigeria will continue to expand on what he had achieved, operations in agriculture, military cooperation, and in many other areas. The outgoing High Commissioner thanked Nigeria for the support he received in about 2.5 years he spent in the country, noting that bilateral relations between the two countries have improved tremendously, with many memoranda of understanding signed and others still in the works. MD Shamid said over 60 delegates visited Nigeria from his country for different purposes during his tenure. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. Zamfara State Government asks Federal Government to release the 10 billion Naira Special Intervention Fund for victims of armed banditry in the state. AMINU KANO Teaching Hospital initiates study on liver transplant. Nigeria Security and Civil Defense School dismisses officer for looting in Abuja. On business, Federal Government begins payment of 30,000 grants to artisans in the country. And on the international scene, Nigeria will continue to expand on its successes. President Buhari assures outgoing Bangladesh High Commissioner. That's the news. On behalf of the production crew, Head of News and Current Affairs Department, Ibrahim Garbatino, I am Samira Ibrahim, wishing you a pleasant day. Keep watching Standard Voice Television News. Goodbye.